Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan and I am so glad you're here today. Thanks for stopping by. If you are a new visitor, hello and welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. It's good to have you back. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. Ashleigh over at Joyful Chaos posted a home birth tag. You may know about me if you've watched many of my videos that I am a doula. I also have 6 kids. All of their birth experiences have been pretty different, but wonderful in their own way. And one of them was a home birth. So I thought I would jump on this pretty unique tag and have some fun with it today. I have my questions on my phone here. So if you see me looking down, that's why. Okay, question number 1. Why did you choose an out-of-hospital birth? For my first 3, I was blessed that my incredible midwife had a hospital birth center. It was a wonderful little setup that was really convenient, and there were no birth centers of anything like it anywhere nearby. I don't think even within several hours in our state. So it was really unique and wonderful. And unfortunately, the hospital in which she had the birth center felt that she wasn't profitable enough, so they closed down her practice there at the hospital. So she switched to strictly home birth. We had already had 3 children with her, and we were really confident in her incredible skill as well as her as a person. We trusted her because we had a relationship for 7 years as a care provider with her. So we trusted that she was skilled, and we were comfortable with having her in our low risk situation at home. Question number 2, how did you find your midwife? I kind of already answered that. She had delivered our first 3 children in her birth center, and it just was a natural progression when the birth center was no longer available to have her for our home birth as well. Who was present at your birth? At our birth, it was myself, obviously, my husband, our midwife, as well as her assisting midwife. Every home birth midwife should, they almost always do, I don't really know of any states that allow exceptions, have an assisting midwife, either a midwife in training, a registered nurse, someone who is formally trained in medicine, in labor and delivery, and they work together as a team so that when baby is born, there is someone to focus solely on mama and solely on baby. So we had the 2 midwives, my husband and myself. Number 4, how did you prepare for birth? Meaning books, documentaries, classes, etc. I had already had 3 beautiful babies. I'd done a lot of preparing for them. And we didn't take any extra classes, but I did watch various things. Our home birth was in 2013, so there were a lot of things available to me, like the documentary Pregnant in America, another one called The Business of Being Born, and then the producers of The Business of Being Born by that time had also produced a series called I believe it was The Business of Being Born 2 or More Business of Being Born. It was a series of shorter films that had a theme, whether it was VBACs, doulas, things of that nature. So I watched those and I read my usual books like Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, Birthing from Within, just to refresh on all those things. And I also read the incredible Birth Without Fear blog, which is run by January Harsh. who is a wonderful revolutionary woman in the modern birth culture. I highly recommend that blog. She writes pieces herself, but it also is a place where a lot of women have sent her their birth stories, and she's published them there, so that there are so many different experiences and you can really get a grasp on the ranges of normal and different experiences. How did you deal with criticism, skepticism, or negative comments when you told others about your decision? We purposefully told very few people. We knew it was the right decision for us. We researched home birth extensively. We had the state's absolute best NICU, a very short ambulance right away. And we trusted our midwife as a skilled woman of her trade, as well as a person. We knew we could trust her. So we were confident, and we just, as much as it's good to exercise caution and be fully informed, which we absolutely were, we didn't want to hear the scare tactics, because people have so much awful stuff to say. For example, when we first moved down here to Virginia, and I was pregnant with our fifth, because our fourth was a home birth, I asked on a local moms group about just the different, we had just found out we were pregnant, and I asked about the different options for birth centers or home births or things of that nature, and indicated I was specifically looking for midwifery care. And almost immediately, one of the first responses was a woman saying, I am a registered nurse. I would love to meet up for coffee and talk to you about how a home birth is a deadly decision and how I've watched babies die in the NICU. What are you adding to the conversation? There's a lot that people don't understand about home birth, that it's only for low-risk women, that home birth midwives are incredibly skilled and watch every single nuance very carefully to ensure that everything is going so normally and safely. And one thing that Ina May Gaskin says that I totally love is that they are guardians of birth, and they watch the process. And if one thing kind of isn't perfectly right, they're like, they watch, and they watch closer. If two things transfer to a hospital, even if it's not something going wrong, it's just a hint that that's just not quite perfect, go to the hospital, because they are the guardians of birth, and they are just there to use their skill to make sure that mama and baby are perfectly safe and healthy the entire time. So we were well informed, we trusted our care providers, and we did not want to hear the ignorant fear-mongering. So we just didn't tell people. And in the end, when we posted a picture of our newborn son, someone said, "Is that your couch? Did you have your baby at home?" Yeah, we did. Let's see. Number 6, did you have a doula? I did not. I did not become a doula for 2 more years after having my home birth. I think doulas are incredible. I thought they were before I was one. So it's not solely bias. But yeah, I didn't have a doula. I never really felt the need. My husband jokingly calls himself a doula. He is an incredible birth partner. And in my home birth, I never felt like my needs were not met or in any way not anticipated like they could or should have been between my care providers and my husband. So no, I did not have a doula for my home birth. Number 7, how did you cope with labor pains? Yeah, what's the second part? Oh, an exercise ball, shower, walking, etc. My 4th, which was my home birth, was a doozy. My first was a typical first birth, 24 hours long, almost to the minute, start to finish. About an hour and a half of pushing, nothing extraordinary. My second was 4 hours, start to finish, 20 minutes of pushing. My third was 3 hours, start to finish, and she came out in 2 pushes. I have easy labors and deliveries. I am incredibly blessed. My 4th decided that was not to be so. Everything was perfectly safe, perfectly normal, but he was posterior, which means that he was turned in the opposite direction than how babies are supposed to come down into the birth canal. So his head, the head is shaped so that when baby's coming down, they tuck their chin and it goes perfectly. It slides down into the birth canal through the pelvis. He was turned the other way, so he was coming in and just grinding bone on bone and kind of scraping his whole way down because his little chin wasn't tucked. Because there was nothing in my bone formation to trigger him to tuck his chin from the back. He was coming out facing the wrong way, so physiology wasn't saying, tuck your chin, little buddy. It was long. It was 18 hours. It was very painful. I did a lot of walking. I did the tub. I love the tub. I have had 3 water births and they have been incredible. I recommend a water birth for anyone who is able to utilize that resource. The water helps so much because it takes gravity off of your muscles so your body can work. The contractions can be so much more effective moving baby down while gravity is not pulling on your muscles and causing kind of a double impact on your body. So you're feeling so much less pain when you're in the water, and you can just vocalize and float and relax your body so that the contractions can just move baby down, even posterior. Babies can be turned. Babies are often turned. And a lot of babies turn during labor because they kind of feel uncomfortable with all those contractions pressing on them and it's just not quite right. So they turn themselves. My little dude did not. He came out the hard way. So I used the water because I love the tub. Let's see. Number 8. How did you feel during transition? Did you ever feel like giving up? Did you wish you had an epidural? Yes. He is my first child that I had ever even contemplated an epidural for. But I was home, so obviously that wasn't an option. I just got to one point in transition where I was just weepy, which I always do. I know myself now, and I know when I hit transition, I just start to sob. And I just think, I can't do this. I want to run away. I don't want to be here right now. This hurts too much. And I remember being in the birth tub and kind of sitting, leaned back on the side of the tub. And I looked at my midwife and I said, Deb, I know now why people get epidurals. So yeah, with him, yep. But we did it just fine without one because my body is capable and strong. And he just threw a little wrench in the works, which made it a little extra painful for me. How long was your labor and how long did you push? Like I said before, my labor was 18 hours long. It started around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and it lasted, sorry, the dog was going crazy. He was born at 7:30 at night. So it was a lot of fun. My care providers were so equipped, and my husband was amazing, and we all did perfectly fine. It just was a different experience than I'd had before. All right, getting there, almost done. Oh, and how long did I push? I pushed 3 times. So I don't know, like 6 minutes? They're like 2 minutes apart at that point. Where specifically was your baby born? In a tub, an inflatable kiddie pool, in my dining room. How did you feel after your baby was born? At first I was terrified because my water broke on my first pushing contraction. And I very obviously saw heavy meconium. There's a lot of green there. And when I saw that birth, I just screamed. And then when he was born, I was sure that something was going to be wrong, because we'd never had meconium before, and I do know, I am well informed. I know the complications that meconium can cause. And so I was really scared. I was like, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? And he was great. He was pink and he was screaming and his lungs were clear and his nose was clear very quickly after that. And he was great. But yeah, initial reaction was fear that he was not going to be okay because of the meconium. And the second reaction was, I am so glad that's over, because that was hard. Those were my reactions. Let's see. Did you get the birth experience you were expecting? No. I expected 2 to 3 hours, because my labors had kept getting shorter and easier. So in that regard, I did not get the birth experience I was expecting, because it was really long and it was really difficult. But as far as the environment and the care, absolutely. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It was so nice to have my baby and have 2 incredibly skilled women there look us both over and know that we were both healthy, we're both fine, and then tuck us into bed and nurture us and make me food and tea and run to the store for a supply that I had forgotten on my birth kit list and do my laundry. Everybody always asks, what about the mess? I could not clean that up. My husband could not clean that up. They do that. My husband and I never did a darn thing. They washed anything that was used in the home birth and they cleaned everything. Everything was done for us, and they just tucked us into bed and we enjoyed our baby, and they hung out with us for a few hours to make sure everything was perfection. It was awesome. Would you recommend an out-of-hospital birth to other women? Yes, if you are low risk and you have an excellent certified nurse midwife available in your area, absolutely. They are a wonderful, wonderful option for most low-risk women. What advice would you give to pregnant women who wish to have this type of birth? I would say to read Ina May's Guide to Childbirth by Ina May Gaskin. Know what the birth process is going to physiologically be like, because then you won't get so freaked out and think, should we transfer? Should I be in a hospital? Be informed. Own your decision to have this birth at home. Know that it's the right decision for you, and questioning is good and it's healthy, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, because any decision that you don't question is probably foolhardy. So questioning that option is very good and it is wise. But do your research and find an excellent care team. And yeah. To sum up, use 5 words or less to describe your home birth experience. Powerful. Yeah, that's what I would call it. There were a lot of powerful sensations going on, and in the end, he roared when he came out. And he's 4 now, and he hasn't stopped roaring. And my baby's crying. So I'm glad that was the last question. Thank you so much for sticking around, friends. I would love to answer any questions you have about my experience, about my work as a doula, or anything that you might have. Put it in the comments below. If you would like to hear about my other birth experiences, I would love to share if that's something people are interested. So leave that in the comments below as well. Thank you so much for sticking around, friends. Bye-bye.